My name is Holly Warren. I'm the city's new Assistant Director for the Arts. Thanks again for joining us here tonight. I'm going to ask you to do one more round of applause for Charlie Jessup, who's the musician we've been having play. Thank you. So Charlie is also going to be playing a little after the mayor and I speak, so please stay tuned, enjoy the music, and enjoy more cider. So Charlie's performance is the first of what I'm hoping is going to be just a beautiful suite of arts programming that really reactivates the building over the course of the next, or just happening more and often very soon. I'm really excited to be here tonight to share with you more about our plans for that future. But before that, I just want to take a minute to honor the legacy of land that this building was put on. So, on behalf of the city of Bloomington, I wish to acknowledge the indigenous communities native to this region and recognize that the Waldron Center is built on indigenous homelands. We recognize the Miami, Delaware, Potawatomi, and Shawnee people, among others that history has erased, as past, present, and future caretakers of the land. As the Assistant Director for the Arts, I want to challenge us all to honor this legacy by finding modes to highlight it in creative work presented here and around the city. In my new role, I am committed to establishing programs that ensure all voices and histories from the area are heard, told, presented, acknowledged, and honored. So please join me in taking on that challenge. I think it's really important here. Now, okay, so speaking of history, y'all, this building has got some history. It's pretty freaking awesome. Here I want to give a shout out to the city's Director for Facilities, J.D. Baruff. So not only has he been the person really spearheading all the repairs that are going on at the just guidance of the Waldron City Task Force to just get this building really up to code in the next 6 months. He is a trove of historical knowledge, both of this building and the entire city. Every time we talk to him, I'm just like, JD, what? So it's very awesome. So JD is the one who gave me my first site visit of this building about 2 months ago. And it was so cool to see the space, to see the Fire Bay Theater, to see the third floor auditorium. I love the third floor hallway gallery. It's just so small and there's so many opportunities to do amazing things there. Same thing goes for these galleries. Y'all, there's just so much space to put amazing art on the walls and put amazing performances into the space. So seeing the spaces with JD, it just blew my mind. But simultaneous to that, just hearing from JD the history of this space and how historically it's really just acted as a facility in service of the city and its residents is just phenomenal. It's been a fire station, a city hall, a center for education, and as we all know, a home for thought-provoking art, performance, and a home for just art-loving audiences. It's super cool. So I have to read this part because it's important to me. So I love that all this history is wrapped up into this physical space. I'm a sucker for physical spaces like this, spaces that are ripe with and reflect the history of their communities, and that in turn can be galvanized by art. This is one of those spaces. I've been lucky to witness this at other spaces I've worked at in the past. Before coming here, I was at the Logan Center for the Arts at the University of Chicago. So y'all might have heard me say this before, but it's like this 10-floor behemoth of a space that is just host to musical performances, theater, and visual arts. Before that, I worked at Northwestern's Block Museum of Art, so we would do programming not just in the galleries, in the theater, but we would do it in bathrooms, in elevators, in broom closets. We were just like, activate every space. It was awesome. But as much as I've done that work and enjoyed doing that work in the past, I don't think that it was really until the pandemic hit that I really understood how effectively arts buildings are at grounding and uniting communities. It's so important. And I know and am so proud of everything arts communities did as COVID hit. You have to acknowledge artists are the creatives. We're the resourceful ones. We know what to do. We've got the power and the passion to persevere and just find the way forward no matter how tough things get. I loved the weird art that happened on Zoom. It was so cool. And it wasn't all, I mean, it wasn't just weird, it was also awesome. I just loved the grids of choral singers all serenading me from their individual windows from home. That was super awesome. I loved how theater groups can manipulate us into like smaller breakout rooms so we could really intimately experience a really important scene of a play. And I loved how performance artists would put these like weird, like visual screens behind them and just like move back and forth within them to create these really cool visual soundscapes. It was awesome and I loved it, but I don't think, and I think most of you will agree with me on this, anything can replace the visceral experience of witnessing work in person. I think artists need the energy of a live crowd to work off of. People need to be able to see a painting in person, to see the texture. Without being able to see that in person, you're just not gonna get the overall experience of the brunt of that work. So I am so glad we are in a point where safely, cautiously, we're starting to do in-person art experiences again. And I'm so excited to share more with you all about how we're gonna do that here at the Waldron very, very soon. So, before I turn it over to Meryl Hamilton to talk a little more about the nitty-gritty details of that, I just want to thank a few individuals who have made this all possible and made it possible for me to come in this space and be like, yeah, I love space. So, so I definitely want to thank members of the Waldron Task Force for just doing the real deep dive work to really understand what this building is capable of, giving us a tick list of repairs that really do need to be made to make the building just up to code so we can all use it to its best capacity again, and also just give us options for managing the building into the future so we can really bring it back to life expeditiously. I also want to thank my colleagues and the Department of Economic and Sustainable Development. They have been so amazing and supportive in the short time I've been here. I especially want to do shout out to our fearless leader, Alex Crawley. He has really done a lot to just very quickly bring me up to speed on everything that needs to happen and how to make it happen. I also really want to thank my predecessor who was in the position before me, Sean Starowitz. He's incredibly amazing and has just really set me up for success with the tools to really bring this place back strong. And then, of course, I also want to thank all the members of the arts community who have reached out to me either as lovers of art or performers or artists and just shared with me the legacy of this city and how it supports the arts and how this building is so integral to that. It's just been so helpful in driving me to push this work forward. So thank you all for all of your work. And then finally, of course, I want to thank the Office of the Mayor. I have never felt so supported in starting a new line of work. I've gone both from the private to the public sector and from a huge old city that like teeny tiny to like, you know, just being able to walk down the street to like so many awesome venues. So I want to thank the Mayor's Office and everyone here for all the support and making that happen. And I just want to share that anytime like I review or think about how much support the city here has put in, not just into this building, but the larger, you know, arts community. I'm just so proud to be a part of this work. So thank you all for being here to experience that with us. All right, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Hamilton to give us a few more remarks about what we're going to do.
Thank you. I'm not a very good technician. Should I turn that down more, or what do you think? Let's just put that. Okay. I don't want to pop you guys too much. Hello. Taking my mask off. Holly, welcome.
Thank you.
To Bloomington. Nice, nice. Way to go. Good to be with you all. I'm really glad to be here. I don't need to give history of this. You're all doing well on COVID protocols. I'm checking around. That's still with us. We're working on it. We'll get there. Sorry about that. It is really good to see friends again in person. We were here 6 months ago. Members of the Arts Commission, members of the task force that worked on this. It is really important. You heard about this space, getting a space, a physical space for artists to work. We care a lot about it, and we're going to work hard on it. So, this afternoon, smack in the middle of First Friday Gallery Walk, I want to just give an update on 3 key aspects of what's going on. First, how the repair and refurbishment's going. I'm going to give you a little update on that in case you don't track all that yourself. Second, what are some more steps coming out of the task force recommendations, next steps? And third, I just want to take a little stock on Recover Forward and art in general and what's going on with that. So, be comfortable. It's not too long, but you know, if you can't stand up, find a place to lean or something, whatever. But we'll get there. Last May, we were here and we announced a number of investments and actions to keep this place active following the recommendations of our task force to, quote, leverage the building to its fullest extent to support the performing and visual arts in the community, close quote, for the next 5 years at least. And today I want to share progress on meeting those commitments. First, I'm happy to share that we are on track for reopening the doors on January 3rd, 2022. That's good. Watch for an announcement of an opening celebration which will involve our good friends and fellow and the current tenants at WFHB who will be celebrating their 29th anniversary. That's a big one. That's like a prime number and it's a big 29, so go for that. Following this kickoff, we anticipate playing host to productions by several of our long-standing theater groups in the city. So be on the lookout too for announcement of other art shows in this space. Charlie, you're the first of many, so here we go, you know, art activities. The first of the galleries we hope will be in February 2022 Arts Walk, pandemic permitting. A big part of the reopening is a bunch of repairs. So I don't want to tire you with this, but you know we announced $515,000 committed to fix up this building. We got critical support from the City Council. Thank your council members. If there are any here, if they're not here, thank them anyway, because they had to vote to support that, and we appreciated that as part of the Recover Forward comprehensive investment for our community to move forward from the pandemic. And by the way, most of this investment was made possible by the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, so please thank President Biden and the U.S. Congress who made that possible too. So maybe we should even thank them. That money was really important. All right, so to date, we have completed repairs on the roof to ensure that it's structurally sound. Adam, are we taking a tour of the roof later? Probably not. Okay, we won't go. It is also in Building Back Better in alignment with our sustainability goals with the spirit of Recover Forward. We've upgraded the building's plumbing to save water. We have also switched to LED lights to save energy, so that's good. In progress, as you may notice walking around, is the repair of the windows, which are original to the building. Many were cracked, falling out of their frames. We are sending them off for repair, reinstalling them soon. We're also completing tuck pointing of the masonry on the north facade of the building in order to ensure its integrity. Soon we will be overhauling the HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning system, a project very much top of mind as we look to safely welcoming back audiences to this space. We have committed to upgrading the air filtration and turnover rates to the standards of the Actors Equity Association to keep performers, administrators, and audience members as safe as possible. So that's a good thing too, that we're dealing with the equity members. Other repairs and upgrades on track for this year are a water heater replacement, upgrades to the fire alarm system, creating window wells on the exterior. Maybe they're a place for art, window wells, who knows? You can do art anywhere. To prevent further water leaking. We're also exploring options of using the cistern housed under the building to pump water out during periods of heavy rainfall. Let's not talk about heavy rainfall too much. One more happy note. We are anticipating that the cost of this big list of repairs is less than $515,000, so we're glad about that. And I want to thank, again, the members of the Waldron Task Force. If you were on that task force, please raise your hand. Come on, raise them up. Thank you. Really important work. You drove the evaluation of this building and the critical nature of the repairs. We are confident that come January, building users will be able to show their work, mount their performances, and safely, comfortably do that in the Waldron. They and their audiences will be able to focus on the production and experience of high-quality work. Holly, you mentioned a number of people, Adam Wason, J.D. Boroff, Mary Catherine Carmichael, also, of course, Alex and Holly as well. Would you just give them a round of applause? They have really loved this place and taken care of it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, second part of today's update, beyond the physical building. Managing and programming a building with so many dynamic spaces and users is not an easy thing. It takes expertise, time, money that the city cannot and should not bear on its own. Thus, also per the task force's recommendation, last July we issued a request for qualifications to elicit third-party management proposals for the Waldron. This request elicited one excellent proposal, enthusiastically put together, I'm saying this, enthusiastically put together by a core group of arts leaders in the city, which we greatly appreciate. We are actively negotiating with this respondent now to take over management of the Waldron. Anticipating, as we do, a successful conclusion to those negotiations, we expect the entity will take over management of the building in July of 2022. So now in the first 6 months, as this external group prepares for its takeover, the city will manage the building and facilitate all programs and exhibitions that take place within its walls. I hope that's not a surprise to you, Holly and Alex. Okay, all right. They will work very closely with the arts leaders in the community, including members of the anticipated management group, to accommodate artists, art groups, make sure the use of the space runs smoothly, audience experience their excellence, and letting everybody delight once again in this space. As I mentioned earlier, with the repair costs coming in under budget, we anticipate being able to use some of the remaining amount of those funds to support this undertaking. Now, simultaneously to our work to make this center, the Waldron, the premier art space for the next 5 years at least, as I indicated last summer, we also intend to commission a third-party study to explore options for building Bloomington's arts capacity, including possibly a new facility within the downtown region. The effort will consider several options, including the viability of keeping the Waldron as a primary building within the city's arts ecosystem, determining the potential type, size, location, cost for another possible new or expanded facility, and exploring options not just for building a new physical structure to house the arts, but also building a stronger arts community beyond the walls of any one existing or new facility. This endeavor aligns with our original task force's recommendation and will be funded with 2021 and 2022 aforementioned ARPA-funded Recover Forward funds. See how this stuff it matters, right? We got to keep that going. Anyway, and beyond this building and its current repair and activation, its programming and its management, the task force also recommended a longer-term view. To that end, I will begin soon working with City Council and other constituencies to consider the proposal of a new quasi-public corporate entity, something like a cultural improvement corporation or a downtown building corporation, to oversee and manage public properties like the Waldron, the Busker, perhaps other publicly owned properties. This entity could ensure that buildings entrusted to the public good receive the attention, care, and funds they need to operate smoothly and sustainably. They could also facilitate effective and active management and activation of them as well. And finally on this section, it's really important explicitly, Holly kind of referenced this, to acknowledge that even with excellent arts-focused downtown buildings like the Waldron and the Busker, of course we know art does not all happen beneath their roofs. A critical element of our new third-party study will be ensuring the health of our arts community, not just through the support of space, but potentially also through a series of initiatives to empower neighborhoods or more distributed venues to become arts hubs in their own rights. A downtown arts center can serve as a beacon around which a community can rally, but other factors may deserve empowerment as well. A neighborhood studio tour, a mural project, a backyard or a front porch performance, a pop-up event, a surprise use of familiar places, all can serve as well. And we want to consider a wide range of sources, neighborhoods, locations to best activate and support our local art scene. Our community can embrace and enjoy the power of art not only in a spectacular downtown space, but also simply walking out of your door or turning the corner from work or school or stumbling upon an intriguing alley event. This could reflect a community where artists and arts groups across the city feel empowered and part of an overall ecosystem supporting their endeavors. A purpose-built, purpose-designed arts community. Last, wrap this update up, that's not a very good sentence, to wrap an update up, we should spend just a few minutes to remind ourselves of some of the other investments in the city's arts community. So in addition to the $515,000 allocated from 2021 Recover Forward funds for this building, we have committed an additional $250,000 funds to support the Buskirk Chumley Theater as it prepares for its centennial year. That's good. That's worth it. These funds will go toward critical repairs at the Buskirk Chumley, including an upgrade to its HVAC system and its unforgettable marquee. We have also allocated $350,000 in Recover Forward funds to allocate over the next 14 months to support the further development of new and existing arts groups. We also remain committed to our 1% for the Arts Ordinance. Over the past 2 years, we have committed over $600,000 to 4 such projects, including public art in the Trades District Garage, the 4th Street Garage, Switchyard Park, and the Trades District. I don't know if any of our artists are here for that. No, not right. They're busy doing art, but remember that. We also continue to fund individual artists, art groups, arts nonprofits through the greatly expanded grant programs funded through Facilitate, the Bloomington Arts Commission, and the Bloomington Urban Enterprise Association. This fall's grant cycle, for which the city allotted $60,000 and the BUEA Urban Enterprise $40,000 just closed. We'll soon be announcing recipients. We can't wait to see what they do. That's in addition to the $40,000 granted earlier this year and the $40,000 granted in 2020. Now, I'm going to do the math for an arts community. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. If you do the math of what I just said, as a community, we have directed approximately $2 million of public support toward arts and arts organizations in the last 3 years. That's an unprecedented amount of support. It's been critically important show of support from our community to our arts community that is so essential to Bloomington and was hit so hard by the pandemic. So as we're here in this facility, this building, we reflect on countless performances we've seen here, paintings and sculptures and photographs by the thousands that have been installed in these galleries over decades. The years we spent informed and entertained by community-powered radio of WFHB. We consider the role the Waldron has played over 3 decades in our community as an arts incubator, a role repeatedly referenced by those who contributed to the work of the task force. We heard that over and over. And as also referenced in the report, we acknowledge some of the building's limitations as a space for performing and visual arts. So for now, for today, let's focus on the joyful anticipation of returning to live performances and exhibitions here, on the excitement of moving into a new era for Bloomington arts, still to be imagined and designed, and let's celebrate $2 million of local pride and embrace of our arts, sustaining that part of this city that sustains us all every day. Thank you for all of you who made this happen. I look forward to the next chapter, and for the next few minutes, enjoy local musician Charlie Jessup. Thank you, Charlie, and venture out to all the other galleries as part of Gallery Walk. Thank you all for being here.